If you think it's going to have a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. Hey geeks and gamers, welcome to my channel. I'm Trey Guillotine, and we are about to geek out on some of the current events surrounding geek and pop culture. But before we geek out, I want to ask you a question. What are you gaming on? If you want your answer featured in an upcoming video, let me know in the comments of this video or on any of my social media the game you're playing, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and your answer will be featured in an upcoming video. What I've been gaming on is a little different today. I've been playing Elder Scrolls Blades, which is Bethesda's new Elder Scrolls mobile game. When this was first announced at the last E3, the only comment I had for it was, this is the Elder Scrolls game literally no one asked for. I don't think anyone ever wanted to play Skyrim on their phone, but that's what they did and that's what they gave us. But I've been playing it since it came out. It's still in, I think, like early access stages, but it was also a free game that you didn't have to like pre-order or anything like that, so I don't see why it's not just out now. I don't know the details about that, but I have been playing it for a little bit, and for a free mobile game, it's really not that bad. Now, if I had paid like $40 or $60 or even $10 for it, I'd probably be a little disappointed because it's also not that great. Like, it's not a bad mobile game, but it does definitely have all the staples that we don't like about mobile game, like things where you can like buy gems with real money so that you can use those gems in the game to open a treasure chest earlier than you would normally have the wait period, and then that treasure chest is basically a random loot box. So it definitely has all the staples that kind of make us not like mobile games all that much. This isn't the first time that Bethesda has jumped into mobile games, because obviously they had their mobile game around the time that Fallout 4 was announced at E3, Fallout Shelter, which was very much, again, a very basic phone game. You build your little bases, you kind of like manage your little people and make them happy or make them unhappy or whatever it is you want to do with them. It was, like I said, it was just a very basic game. The thing that stands out about Elder Scrolls Blades is that there's actual... It's not so much this thing where you just build a base, you actually have a town, and it's in the first-person perspective, much like the other Elder Scrolls and Fallout games had the option to be, and you have this town that you get to name your town, then you go around and you rebuild a lot of the settlements and the houses and the stores and everything that basically becomes your hub. And then you have other areas you can go in where you can go into the arena, which I'm pretty sure is the PvP, so I honestly haven't touched that. Then there's the Abyss, which is supposed to be, I think, this like never-ending dungeon. Like, you go as far as you can until you die and get your treasure. And then they have just like the basic jobs and missions that you can play throughout the game and advance the story. Like I said, it's not that bad. For a free mobile game, it's definitely, you know, it's not going to hurt you if you play it. You're not going to have to spend money on it. It so far hasn't taken up too much space on my phone. It's a pretty good mobile game as far as mobile games go. They did say at E3 that they did have ideas of porting it over to the console, which probably it would work really well on a console, but again, it should like remain as a free game. But that's what I've been gaming on, so now I want to hear what you've been gaming on. So whatever game you're playing, let me know in the comments of this video or on any of my social media the game you're playing, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and your answer will be featured in an upcoming video. So let's start geeking out, and of course, today we are geeking out about the biggest event in geek history. Bigger than the moon landing, bigger than the discovery of fire, bigger than Ben Franklin flying the key and the kite up in the lightning, the biggest thing that has ever happened in recorded history. The final season of Game of Thrones is coming out. I'm recording this on a Sunday afternoon, so I haven't seen, as of this point, most people haven't seen the new Game of Thrones season premiere, and then I'm putting it out on a Monday, and I'm actually not 100% sure when I'm actually going to get to watch the season premiere because I have HBO through Prime, which I guess is just the same thing as HBO Go. I really don't know, and I didn't mean to rhyme that, but I don't know if they're going to be like releasing the stream of it at the same time that it premieres on the HBO actual cable channel, or if it's going to come out on a Monday. So I really don't know. So there's a chance that if you're watching this on a Monday, I haven't seen this, so please do not give me any spoilers yet. I'm very excited about the final season of Game of Thrones, even though there are some aspects of the series, both books and TV shows, books and TV show, that I'm kind of disillusioned by. There was like a few seasons there that it really lost me, but I think in the last season, I thought the last season they did was fantastic. I'm very excited jumping into this one, but I'm honestly not sure why I am excited. I don't know why anyone is this excited about Game of Thrones, because it's about to get really, really depressing. This is the final season of this show that from the beginning has been very adamant about, this is not a good story. This is not a happily ever after kind of story. All of the favorite characters that we followed through 8 seasons and as of now 5 books, all of those characters that we've grown to love and hate, there's a good chance that most, if not all, of those characters are not walking away after the series finale. That all of these characters are going to die. And because of that, this series, just for the next, it's 6 episodes for the next 5 or 6 weeks. I don't know if they're doubling up one night or anything like that. For the next 6 weeks, we're all going to be really, really depressed. So I'm not sure why we're excited about a new Game of Thrones, because it's not going to be a happy story. If you think it's going to have a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. But with the season starting, the final season starting, everyone has their different theories and speculation on who's going to die and who's going to win the Game of Thrones. And I do just want to throw out my own theory about who's going to win the Game of Thrones. And I think that it's going to be Cersei Lannister. And let me tell you why. So at the end of the last season, the Wall is gone. The Night's Watch, it's gone. It's been destroyed. And they marched into Westeros with nothing in their path, recreating the cinematic from World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King, and they are now invading into Westeros. We have Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen, all of her force and all of the Stark's forces, and just everyone, all of the good guys that we really like are up there at Winterfell in the north, and they are basically, as of right now, as far as we know, the only thing stopping the White Walkers, the army of the White Walkers, led by the Night King, of basically wiping out people in Westeros. The other thing that happened at the end of the last season is that Jon Snow and Daenerys, they went to King's Landing. They were like, BT dub, Cersei. There's this thing that's kind of important that we really need to set aside our differences and, band together so that we aren't all wiped out. And she's like, no, that's not going to happen. You're lying. You're trying to lure us into a false sense of security. And they leave, and I don't think Cersei will be sending any help up north. As the Night King and the White Walkers are invading into Westeros in the north, personally, I do think that Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen are going to put up an amazing front. I think they're going to defend Westeros well. I think they're going to defend Winterfell well. I think it's going to be an amazing battle and an amazing campaign that they're going to launch against the White Walkers. It's supposed to be one of the biggest and longest battles in cinema ever to be recorded. So it's going to be a big thing, which I'm very excited about. As someone who likes big battles and action, I'm probably going to love that. But however big that battle is going to be, I don't think it's going to matter. I really don't think that it's going to matter. So that even if Cersei had sent all of her armies, every single soldier and army that she had, if she sent them up to the north, I still don't think it's going to matter. Because how are you supposed to beat the army of the Night King? How are you supposed to beat the White Walkers? The White Walkers, the ones that are actually magical, they have at least some sense of intelligence. And we actually saw in the last season that the White Walkers, or at least the Night King, was created by the Forest People, assumably, to fight off the humans and their expansion, because that's what humans do in any fantasy or sci-fi or story in general, is humans grow and expand like bunnies. And the forest people were being driven out of their homes, the forest people were being slaughtered by the humans, so they made the Night King to make the White Walkers so that there was some kind of force stopping the humans from destroying the forest people, which are basically just the Kokiri of Westeros. My own theory of how this backfired, though, and it's a very Mass Effect 3 ending kind of theory, is that the Forest People created the Night King and the White Walkers to basically combat humanity and end the conflict between humans and Forest People, humans, mortals, and the magical elements. And the Night King and the White Walkers saw this as, if we wipe out the humans and we wipe out the Forest People, there's no more conflict. They did it. There's no more conflict. And now they're leaving from the north and working their way down south to continue that. We wipe out all of humans, there's no more conflict. That the humans can't keep killing each other because they're all dead. And I think that's like there is some semblance of intelligence within the White Walkers, but it is a single-minded goal of just wiping out life on Westeros. And I think that's why so many of the Forest People were wiped out, because they were wiped out as well as by humans, but also by the White Walkers. And I think they're going to basically blow right through Winterfell, and they're just going to slowly make their way down south. And every character that we've seen, every character that we've loved, is going to be dead and risen into that army, because that army, they're undead. They don't need sleep. They don't need food. They don't need rest. They're undead. They don't feel. They just move and kill. And every living person that dies on the side of humanity, every one of them that dies rises up as another member of that army. How are you supposed to beat something like that? So I think they're eventually going to get to King's Landing, and yeah, Cersei, she won the Iron Throne. She won the Game of Thrones. She wins. She is queen of the Seven Kingdoms, and that's not going to matter, because while she was so focused on this thing that she has wanted her entire life, while she is so focused on it, she let the greater evil happen and did nothing to stop it. And that while, yeah, she's on the Iron Throne and she's won the Game of Thrones, that game is no longer relevant, because the White Walkers are just going to wipe out life on Westeros. And they're going to move on somehow, crossing the sea, and wipe out life on the other continents as well. So unless there is just some kind of Deus Ex Machina thing, if there's some kind of magic, or there's some kind of something, I don't know, maybe Bran could send his consciousness back through time and stop the Night King from being born or being created. Maybe there's some magic that the Maesters are going to find that's, BT dubs, here's the spell to wipe out all of the White Walkers. I don't know. Unless there is some kind of magic button that they can push, I don't see how the White Walkers can be defeated. I really don't. And that kind of ties in with that this is not going to be a happy story. This is not going to have a happily ever after. So things are about to get really depressing. But now I want to hear from you. What are your own thoughts on the final season of Game of Thrones? Let me know in the comments, and follow me on all the internets. Remember, if you want your answer featured in an upcoming video, tell me the game you like, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and your answer will be featured. Share the video around so others can join us in the conversation, and subscribe to my channel to geek out some more. Thanks for watching. Have fun.